Good morning. Welcome to Meditation in the Meadow on this Friday, May 15th. May the peace of God be with you. Let us take a moment to quiet ourselves in spirit, heart, and mind, that we might be more open to the sacred presence within and around us. I want to share verse 1 from Psalm 51. Have mercy on me, O gracious one, according to your steadfast love. Have mercy on me. Mercy. It's about compassion, kindness, hospitality, welcoming, empathy, and respect for the other. It's what we hope that God has offered us at times, mercy. As the song, "Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing," says, streams of mercy never ceasing. Mercy. Who has shown you mercy in your life? And how have you shown others mercy in theirs? That's an important question and one worth our reflection. As we know in the Gospel of Luke in chapter 10, there was a lawyer who came while Jesus was teaching and asked about the greatest commandments, and we know the answer was, love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your strength, and love your neighbor likewise in the same way. Those are the two greatest. And the lawyer, wanting to justify himself, said, well, who is my neighbor? Who is my neighbor? And we know Jesus launches into and tells this beautiful story that we call the parable of the Good Samaritan. Jesus doesn't answer the lawyer's question directly. He lets the lawyer discover for himself who is the neighbor. And in the end, when Jesus says, which of these three, two religious leaders who, were respected and they had responsibilities, so they didn't stop to help. They had other business to attend to, their own needs. And they weren't mindful of the other. And the lawyer has to admit that the one who showed mercy was one that was not well liked, even hated among the Jewish population, the Samaritan. Who is my neighbor? The one who shows mercy. And then Jesus says to the lawyer, then go and do likewise. I think we're still asking that question in our society today, and especially this week after the ruling of the Supreme Court, as we're all trying to reopen and figure out life in general and what that means for us. Seeing people crowd into bars to celebrate, small businesses thankful that they can reopen. But what in the midst of all of this pandemic and the virus still spreading, people are still being infected, becoming sick, and many are still dying. What is our responsibility to our neighbor? And so we ask, well, yeah, but Scott, who is my neighbor? Who is my neighbor in this? Well, some of us might say our family and our friends and people in the community that we know. As a pastor, I might say, well, my church members and friends of the church who attend. Small business owners in our communities that we want to support are our neighbors. Sometimes they're a part of our family. Our children, our teenagers, our college-age students, all those who are online and studying, trying to finish up a school year, and their teachers in the school administration. Those are all our neighbors, aren't they? People we care about, the food service workers, trying to continue to provide meals. Who is my neighbor? Well, the easy answer is the people we know and love and care about on our streets, in our neighborhood, in our community, people we're associated with, that we like. But who is my neighbor? The Samaritan? That was a hard one for the lawyer to stomach, and probably for the audience who heard that original parable. So we ask ourselves, who is my neighbor? Well, people, right? Human beings who are created like you and I in the image of God. And those people live in crowded cities, cramped together, in areas we might not ever want to live in, let alone visit. People of color who are disproportionately affected by the virus. People, our First Nation people that we know on their lands are also disproportionately affected. Who is my neighbor? Did you ever think your neighbor is people who are working in meat-packing plants? Crammed in there and not necessarily with the safest of conditions? And they become a political football? But they're human beings like you and I. Are they my neighbor? Am I responsible for them? People who are also immigrants. We're still dealing with border issues and people who have been detained and locked up. People, immigrants, like our ancestors. Those people that we want to have a DNA test so that we can go, oh yes, I've got 40% Italian in me, or I'm Irish, or I'm Norwegian. Are immigrants our neighbors? How about people who are in prison or in jails? Or how about those who are in hospitals and hospices and care facilities? And how about those health professionals in New York City, in hospitals and emergency rooms and clinics dealing with the virus? People we may know, but many of them we don't know. And then we question, is this real? Are scientists our neighbors? Are researchers our neighbors? Who is our neighbor? How about the people we pass on the street or pass in the grocery store, or who help check us out at the grocery store or deliver our food to us curbside or to our door? People that we may exchange money with now over online or over the phone. But are they our neighbors? And if they are, how are we to show mercy on all of them? And how have they shown mercy to us? The lawyer asked that question, and the answer is still the same these days. The one who showed mercy, compassion, empathy, caring, offering of themselves, even at a risk and cost to themselves, as the Samaritan did. Who is my neighbor? In this confusing time, as people try to make sense of the life we are all now living, and we are all living it, one thing is the same, and that is loving God with all our heart and soul and mind and strength, and loving our neighbor as ourself. And that means to show mercy, even as the merciful one has offered that mercy to us constantly, without question or judgment. A prayer. If we are the people of God, then please, as those who are showing mercy today, when we go out in public places, let us do that. Show mercy and compassion and respect for others by wearing a mask, by keeping our physical distance. It doesn't mean we can't connect socially. By offering kind words for the workers in stores and restaurants and places where we go, and practicing good sanitary conditions for the health and safety of all, including are neighbors, and we all are neighbors. Have mercy on me, O gracious one, according to your steadfast love, the psalmist sings out. According to your abundant kindness, forgive us where our thoughts and deeds have hurt others, and lead us in the paths of justice, and guide our steps on the paths of peace, that we may show mercy to others, as you, O merciful one, have shown it to us. Amen. Friends, remember this day that love can mend our brokenness. It can help us to carry the heavy burdens we all bear. It can make us whole, and is at the root that unites us as one in the breath and life of all human beings, our neighbors. We're all in this together, and God is with us, within us, and all around us. So be merciful and love kindness, and always walk humbly with God. Amen. Blessings to you this day. May the Lord be kind to you and gracious. Amen.